This morning we're invading the kitchen of the Omni King Edward Hotel in Toronto, one of the most glorious grand hotel kitchens that's left. My friends Christophe Le Chaton, who's the GM, and Daniel Schick, who's the executive chef, are kind enough to let me come in here once in a while and pretend that I know what I'm doing and cook a couple of things in their kitchen. One of my favorite places to cook. So come on over here and let's take a look. So this is what you call a kitchen. No cramped spaces in here, everything you could possibly imagine, everything you need to work with, and people like Peter who've been cooking here for 22 years who actually make me look like I know what I'm doing. So today, because I love kitchens like this, we're going to make something in honor of my friend Pierre Toigreau, who's actually turning 90 next year. And when he got his third Michelin star with his brother Jean in Rouen in 1968, they made a little dish called escalope de saumon à l'oseille. So thinking of my friend Chef Pierre, we're going to make that today for lunch and share it with some of our friends here at the King Edward.
So what about the saying of maintaining somebody's lifestyle that they've always had? So, for example, let's say that people get separated and one of the people start to accumulate a large amount of debt. Okay, and the other person didn't even know. So who's responsible for this debt and to pay it?
So we start with Section 5 of the Family Law Act that presumes, again, when you're married, because remember, Section 5 of the Family Law Act only applies to married people.
Yep.
Common law people have to prove interest and entitlement.
Right.
So when you're common law, the other nice thing is, if Bob goes out and racks up 100 grand on the visa bill,
Yeah.
Joan, who's not his married spouse, has no obligation to pay that, and even in family law, has no potential obligation to take that debt off when they're dividing up assets. His debt is his debt.
Right.
But when you're married, when you equalize family property, the concept of equalization is you subtract debts from assets.
Right.
So that $100,000 visa bill that was incurred during the marriage,
Right.
anything incurred after separation doesn't get split up, only during the marriage. So the $100,000 visa bill during the marriage starts off by being a debt that he gets to deduct from his assets for equalization purposes, i.e. she eats 50% of it. But under Section 5, there's a provision that if somebody improvidently depletes their assets or incurs a debt, to use the vernacular, that's just way out of whack, that it's completely unreasonable, it has nothing to do with their family lifestyle or expenses. Let's say these are folks that live modestly, lived in a nice house, drove a Honda,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, a week before separation, he goes out and buys a Ferrari.
That smells really good. Does it really taste as good?
It's really good. It really tastes good.
It looks like it.
It really tastes good. So he runs out and buys a Ferrari a week
Yeah.
before they separate and buys it on credit. In my view, the court would find that debt to be completely unreasonable
Yeah.
and would not allow him to deduct it for equalization purposes. Now, let's use the converse.
Yeah.
Let's say this is a family that's fairly well heeled, and well, you know, they're accustomed to taking a nice holiday every Christmas or Hanukkah or
Right.
St. Swithin's Day or whatever. They head off to Hawaii for a month and they take a private villa with their kids, and it
Right.
costs them 100 grand.
Right.
Let's say these folks are not quite separated yet. They haven't quite come to the conclusion, but it's on the verge. They're still together as a family. And in December, he says, I'm taking the kids to Hawaii like I did every year. And she says, no, you're not. He says, sayonara, see you later. Aloha. He hops on the plane, he goes, he does the vacation, and in
Right.
January they split up.
Right.
I think that debt would probably get deducted for family law equalization purposes because it's something they've done every year. It's not out of the ordinary. It's not unusual.
No, but I know of a couple that the wife wanted to stick it to the husband
Yeah.
and literally went and took a $100,000 vacation and charged him all of it
Okay.
after they separated.
Well, then after they separated, that's her problem because it's
Well,
post-separation.
I know for a fact that the husband in the situation was given the bill.
Well, then he should give it back because post-separation, it's not his bill.
But even
Remember,
if she said we did this every year as a
doesn't matter.
family,
It's
this is my
post-separation.
lifestyle,
It's post-separation. She's done it post-separation.
right?
So it's not an equalization issue. That debt
Yeah.
does not get taken off the debts, the assets and debts of the family. That would become her separate debt that she would have to pay from her share of the assets. It would not get divided 50-50 because she did it after they separated.
Yes.
The separation date is very important. We call that a valuation date.
Yeah.
And that's the day where we value everything. That's the day where we take the assets and subtract the debts.
Yeah.
If she incurs that debt a week after separation, that's her debt, that's her problem.
That's interesting because I honestly feel that the other spouse is feeling that he is responsible to keep
Well, he's not.
the entire family in the lifestyle in which they were accustomed.
He may feel a moral obligation.
Yeah,
the law and morals don't always necessarily go hand in hand.
That's, yeah.
But legally, no, it was post-separation. It is her debt. Now, depending on how she incurred the debt, if she incurred it on a jointly owned credit card,
Yeah.
from the point of view of the banking institution, they're going to say to him, you still have to pay us, the bank.
That
But that's
probably is
between
right.
husband and wife.
Right.
That's her debt, and she has to come clean for it out of her share of the assets. True
Interesting.
story. True
Interesting.
Story. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thanks to the inspiration of Jean-Pierre Poirot, and thanks to the kitchen of the Omni King Edward Hotel, and me not getting too distracted by common law versus married, this sausage is perfect.
Oh,
This is
it
just.
looks incredible.
This is just.
Honestly.
This is just a voyage to the stars without getting on a rocket ship. This is just beautiful.
Do you do house calls?
Yeah, I did. As long as you got someone to clean your kitchen.